Hey, once again, good evening, everybody. How you all doing? This is your boy Rob Thomas Jr. And again, this is a very serious discussion from the real news behind the news. Again, today is Wednesday, July 24th, 2019. And I just want to briefly talk about the Trump administration's recent move to cut food stamps. Now, first and foremost, I want to say this. Food stamps and social programs are not an income. They are meant and designed for those of us, because I'm going to be real, I actually get food stamps for my son because, you know, struggling the way that I do, even though when I do work or whatever, I still need help. Believe it or not, a good portion of the people in your military get food stamps. Food stamps are not meant to be a source of income, but be a vehicle that helps you get on your feet, you know, provide food for your children. Now, we have poor people here in America who really depends on that money for those monthly groceries expenditures. Now, recently, Donald Trump had just announced that he's finna cut food stamps. Now, guess what, y'all? I'm finna show y'all some real game. They're saying that the cuts that they're proposing to make to food stamp program is supposed to save the government $9.5 billion over the next 5 years. Well, guess what? In his first year in office, Trump spent $700 billion on weapons of war and continuing to perpetuate these foreign wars, illegal wars overseas. This year alone, they expected to spend $500 billion, hey, Brother Emmett, on weapons of war. But they're steadily decreasing funding for the poor. How is it that we can send in Israel almost $30 million a week? Literally, y'all do the research. We send Israel almost $30 million a week. That's not to mention all the other foreign aid that we send to Israel on a yearly basis. But yet and still, homelessness here in America is off the charts. You got almost 50-some thousand people homeless just in Los Angeles. Go downtown Shreveport after 8 o'clock and look at all the people that's sleeping on the sidewalks. So you mean to tell me you got money to continue funding these illegal, unconstitutional, and illegal wars, but you willing to make the poor here in America sacrifice? This is nothing more than, again, us showing you how your petroleum companies, your military industrial complex, they control your politicians. What we have to do, people, we always sit back and say, well, we can't do nothing about it. They way up in Washington, D.C. What we have to understand is people in America, whether you black, white, Hispanic, whatever, we were supposed to be able to control our politicians. They work for us. We don't get out here every week and work hard and pay taxes just so that they can do what they want to do. We have to start holding them accountable. And how do you do that? You flood their emails. You flood their telephones. You even go down and visit their office, and if need be, you visit their home office in whatever state you in mass numbers. But you have to let these politicians know we're tired of spending, come on, man, $500 billion just this year, and they talking about cutting food stamps just to save $9.5 billion over the next 5 years. Trump, when he got first year in office, gave $700 billion to weapons contractors so that they can continue these illegal wars in Yemen, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya. And you got people right here hungry, man, here in America. How can you be the world's police, first of all, when you're really the world's biggest crook? They're using our military to go to other countries, man, to take those people, literally steal and rob and kill these people for their natural resources. And then here at home, every time they need to save money, they wind up cutting programs that's benefited, the design and benefited to help the poor. But yet and still, again, y'all listen to these numbers, man. Listen to these numbers. They're spending over $500 billion just this year alone. They spent $700 billion. That's over, oh my God, $500 billion plus $700 billion will be what, $1.2 trillion? $1.2 trillion just in something like that. It's up there. You mean tell me you spend $500 billion this year and you trying to cut food stamps to the poorest people in America just so you can save $9.5 billion? How about y'all stop sending all these weapons over there, buying all these weapons? Man, can you imagine how much homelessness and infrastructure here in America that we could get eradicated, infrastructure problems and homelessness that we can get eradicated here in America if we took that $500 billion, just that $500 billion alone, we can eliminate poverty, homelessness in a lot of states. You see what I'm saying? We could actually start putting money into infrastructure projects that would hire people and give them a viable source of income. But you're taking that money out the taxpayers' pocket, buying bombs, buying military hardware that does not work. Because if y'all really do the research, you'll see that half our military equipment, the rest of the world don't want to buy it no more. But we even forced them to buy our military equipment that don't work at the point of sanctioning them. So again, my objective for this video is that we as all Americans, citizens, need to start protesting in front of our senators and our congressmen and our representatives' home offices. We need to flood their emails. We need to break their phone lines by calling so much. But we have to step up as somewhere as citizens of this country, man, and tell them folks, no more money to Israel, no more money for these illegal wars until we take care of the poverty, the homelessness, the lack of social and economic progress in our country. They sit up here and tell y'all about these jobs numbers and America's doing so great. That's a lie. Especially the Trump administration, who for 8 years under the Obama administration kept saying that the unemployment numbers were fake. Well, what makes us think that they real under you, Mr. Trump? It's all designed. All your numbers are fake. They put it out on the news because they have to create consumer confidence. That's why they keep lying to you, talking about the American economy is thriving. If it's American economy is thriving, how come all these retail shops are shutting down? How come you got all these layoffs? How come now your banks are charging you to put your money into the bank, whereas at least back 20 years ago, you put $1 in there, you got a penny for every dollar that you put in there. But now we're living in a wartime economy where every dollar that we pay as taxpayers pretty much is going to fight wars. Again, $700 billion in his first year, now another $500 million, and he's asking for more, but he's willing to cut money to the poor just to save $9.5 billion over the next 5 years. How many kids gonna go to bed hungry here in America if you cut them food stamps trying to save $9 billion when you done spent over 500 times that just on bombs to bomb those innocent people over there in the Middle East under the guise of terrorism? Be honest, y'all, I'm more afraid of Negroes in my neighborhood and police than I am a bunch of sheep herders way over in Afghanistan. I'm afraid of Negroes and the police here in America than I am the people of Iraq, Syria, Libya, Iran. Those people are not trying to come over here and bomb us. Those people are not the terrorists. Our government are a bunch of psychopaths and terrorists. They're the ones over there bombing these people needlessly just to take their natural resources and to continue making the military-industrial complex and these politicians who are in their pockets rich. Guess what? A lot of people finna go hungry just so these military contractors can continue to get these $500 billion contract. Again, $700 billion last year, $500 billion this year, just on war. But you're talking about trying to save $9 billion by cutting food stamps to the poor. We need the American citizens, man, stop fighting each other and come together and fight the corruption in our political system, whether it be local, city, local, state, or national. We need to hold these politicians accountable, man. Hey, y'all, let me go. I gotta get ready and go ahead and fix dinner for my son, you know. But there's gonna be a lot of people hurt if they cut these food stamps off. I mean, stop these food stamps. And then just imagine how that's gonna contribute to the crime rate in our cities. They don't care about here because they figured we just put a few more police on the streets here in America. You know what I'm saying? But they would rather starve us to death and continue to give. Think about it. That $30 million a week that they give Israel, how much could we do with that as far as eradicating homelessness here in America? Hey, y'all give me a moment. Let me go fix my son some dinner. Y'all be blessed. Hey, man, share this video because the solution to the problem, everybody think that we can't do nothing about it, but there is a solution. First and foremost, you put every politician, whether they be city, here, and Pastor Linus Mays did a good job this morning, you know, of putting one politician here in Shreveport, you know, putting his feet to the fire. But we have to hold all our local politicians, our state politicians, and our national politicians accountable. Even to the point where we have to make it where they cannot conduct their day-to-day corruption laced business with these private industries. Because I'm telling you the three complexes you need to worry about before we go. That's your military industrial complex, your pharmaceutical complex, that's the ones who putting all these dangerous vaccines and medications that's worse than the illness that you got, your prison complex, your insurance complex, all these major big businesses, they run your country. Trump don't really run the country. Y'all might think he do, all you Trump supporters, y'all might think, but Trump done lied to y'all so many times, I don't see how y'all can continue to support this man. Didn't he tell y'all he wasn't gonna start no more wars? Didn't Donald Trump tell y'all that he was gonna bring our troops home? Trump is steadily facilitating the previous wars that started under Bush and Obama, and now he's finna take you to war with Iran. So at what point do we as American citizens step up to take back a government that was supposed to be for the people, of the people, and by the people, but now it's the people who got the money that controls your government, and be damned to all the rest of us. So again, I'm gonna put this number out there one more time. 500 billion this year, 700 billion last year, which I'm not the smartest person in the world, but that's close to that's close to $1 trillion that they just spent just on war, and they finna cut food stamps to the poor. What kind of nation do we really live in? And for all you patriots, are y'all really proud of that when you go downtown and you see homeless people sleeping everywhere? The average person in America is only one paycheck away from being homeless, and they sitting in all this money over here to perpetuate illegal wars and to prop an illegal government and in the Israeli government up and make sure that they are well defended. But at the same time, we steadily, I mean, anyway. Hey, let me go ahead and cook my little man something to eat. Hey, y'all be blessed.